Hello, hello, hello. So this is Shannon Posh Anderson, and this is my S2S Radio, where we are in the non-judgment zone. You know, here at my S2S Radio, we love to hear your stories, and today we have a wonderful, wonderful guest. But before I do that, I just want to introduce you to me. So this is for all of my new followers or for my new listeners. My name is Shannon Posh Anderson. I am an author. I am a speaker. I'm a coach. I'm an executive producer. And I do many, many things. But what I do is I like to tell my story. I wrote a book called Stripper to Striver, and from that book, I was able to go and tell my story and help transition and transform the lives of others. So my S2S Radio is actually an extension of that. And on my line right now is the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Knotty Styles. Hey, Knotty.
Thank you. What a nice introduction. How are you? First, let me say that. How are you doing?
Oh, I am good. You know, always trying to do a million things at one time, but you know that I wouldn't feel alive if I wasn't. So
that's right.
So today we will be talking to Knotty. She's actually in my new co-author book entitled Broken But Not Forgotten. And in this book, we are going through different situations that we have all gone through, and how we were able to overcome them and how we were able to heal from them. So Knotty has a wonderful, empowering story of forgiveness. And so that's what we'll be talking about today. So Knotty, please introduce yourself.
Well, like she said, my name is Knotty Styles, and I am so happy to be a part of this project. It was very gut-wrenching for me, but with the help of Miss Shannon Anderson, I was able to get enough courage to talk about my pain. I struggle with this a lot because I am such a private person. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know this story, Miss Anderson. They don't know it. Because I am a person who, when I'm on stage, I'm like, I'm a musician. I'm like, I sing. Everything's gravy. I bring joy to people, Mm-hmm. No one would ever thought that this incident would happen to me. Mm-hmm. And I kept it private for the last, 6-7 years. So you helped me get enough courage to get this story out and be a part of this wonderful endeavor.
Well, I thank you so much. And, I'm always telling people that our stories are our glory. And so many of us have been taught to keep things private. What stays in this house or goes on in this house stays in this house, and things like that. And in turn, they kill us slowly. There's so many things going on in our community and our households that we don't talk about. And I read an actual meme on Instagram, and I forgot exactly what it said, but it referred to the fact that please start telling on Uncle Charlie. Like, he's molesting all the girls and boys, you know what I mean? Like, somebody please stop him. Like, stop saying that, okay, we need to hush it up and keep it under the... No, somebody needs to stop this man.
That's exactly how I was raised, Miss Anderson.
I know, because your story actually is similar to that now that I think about it.
Yeah, and that's how I pretty much live my life. Like, if something tragic happens, I deal with it. I feel the pain for whatever I feel it for, however long, and then I sweep it underneath the rug and keep it moving like nothing ever happened. Mm-hmm. So I'm conditioned to bury pain.
Right.
I don't let people see what the real is, not out of embarrassment or anything. It's just that's just how I was raised. Like,
yeah, like, don't talk about it. Yeah, we not gonna lock up Uncle Charlie. Just deal with it. Like, why?
Right. But you're right. At some point, it comes up. It comes out in other ways.
Exactly. And that's the point that I make right there, because what you're doing is setting forth a whole nother generational curse. And once one person does not heal, just because they don't take it out, exactly the same way that the person or from the person who did it to them. It comes out in different ways.
Yes.
And so we're walking around as these broken adults trying to live normal lives, and then in turn breaking our children. And so, I mean, and seriously, and so the generational curse still goes on. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. It does not go away until somebody has the courage to break it. And so I'm glad that you were able to finally come to terms with it and say, you know what, enough is enough. Even if I don't do it for myself, I'm going to do this for my children. And, and sometimes that's what it takes. A lot of times we won't do it for ourselves, but we'll do it for somebody else. And that's one of the major reasons that I do what I do is for my kids. I don't want my grandkids to have to deal with any of this stuff, my great grandkids or any of that. So I applaud you for just taking the courage to just say, you know what, enough is enough. I don't want my children to step in this same mud.
Yes, you said it perfectly. Because it is a lot. Like, there's a lot that is going on with Miss Styles, but at the same time, like I said, you just push through and go through it. But I do have children. I am a mom, and I love them dearly, and I'm crazy about them.
Right.
And there have been some things, and we've had our family talks where, some things are like, Mom, how can you just deal with this and act like it never happened? Like,
right, and they start getting upset, like, what's wrong with you?
Right. So we have our little round tables, at home, and I'm starting to learn myself all over again through my children, because as they get older, they have questions, and I don't like to lie to my kids. I don't know what other parents do, but for me, when they're older, you can talk to them more because they're able to understand more.
Right.
So with you helping me do this be a part of this journey, they're applauding you as well. I want to tell you, my kids are happy about this project because I'm now talking about things that I normally wouldn't talk about.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Well, awesome. I mean, you sound great. Like, even the spark in your voice, I'm like, okay, something's going on here. So we'll talk about that more.
Remember when we first met, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, you were like, help me. I don't know what to do. I'm so frantic. I'm like, girl. Now you sound like, okay, yes, girl, I got this. We doing this. Boom, We got our capes on. We saving the world, girl. Yes.
Yeah, I know, but you make it so easy because you do share so much of your own personal past. And when I listen to some of your stuff, I be like, whoa. Like, I just be like, okay, wow. Like, that was tragic.
Yeah.
But she's like really telling it and living it, and you have a beautiful smile when you're telling it. And then, sometimes I can tell you go back and you reliving it, but you still keep pushing forward. So I said, well, I need to be strong like that as well in those areas. Because everywhere else I'm fine, but that's an area in my life where I'm stoic. You know what I mean? I have this stone wall effect. Like, nothing can get through this wall,
Yes.
And I want to be able to be vulnerable, so I can help other people,
Exactly, because that's when you allow God to move. And we have to get out of our own way. And so what I learned in this process is being vulnerable and being extremely, extremely humble will take you into places and new heights that you never thought you could ever reach, because a lot of the blocks that we carry, really a lot of that is pride and ego, to be honest with you.
Yes.
And so, God doesn't serve that, and you really can't help people when you're moving in pride and ego. And that's something that I had to learn, because I used to be extremely arrogant. Like, people who grew up with me would tell you, like, this girl used to be so stuck up, like, oh my God.
Wow. Now I can't tell.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. I used to be extremely arrogant, but my mother is that way. You know what I mean? So I was raised that way, to kind of have your nose in the air. And so, after I kept hitting my face and falling on my face, I'm like, what's going on? God's like, girl, you got to break that arrogance. I can't work with that. That's all you right there.
Yeah.
So I got tired of busting my face wide open, and I said, what, I'm just going to humble myself and I'm just going to surrender. So here we are today. So tell me, well, we already said the name of the book is Broken But Not Forgotten. And I'm so excited about this project. Now, tell me, what makes your story or your chapter in this book different and stand out?
Well, like I said, I'm a musician, and I bring joy, and I love to see people smile and dance, and, that's my thing. But to write about something, I'm a songwriter, and I figure, hey, I write songs, and I usually sing out my pain or joy or this or that, and it's nothing. You get what I'm saying? But to write intimately about something that is extremely painful and a crime, that was very, very different. That's a different side of Knotty Styles, and I want to be able to be a great writer in that instead of always being able to sing it. Now, singing is good. Don't get me wrong, but when you can touch somebody with just words with no music, that's big. So that's what makes me different.
I mean, because music is so very healing, and so people use music as the backdrop to their lives for everything, to celebrate, to mourn, to grieve, to whatever, and so, like you said, being a great writer is being able to connect with people's hearts the same way you do with writing a book. Writing is writing. And and so no matter what it is you're writing, you still have to make that heart-to-heart connection. So being vulnerable and dealing with your own pains and dealing with your own stuff is going to make you so much more of a better writer. Not just from the writing aspect, but from the being able to connect with your audience. Like, they'll be able to feel you, And so I cannot wait to hear the song that comes out from this. Hint, clue. I cannot wait to hear the song that comes from this. Girl, I already got my Kleenex ready. Like,
I see you.
You know what I mean? But it's such a beautiful thing.
Extra voices. Miss Anderson.
Girl, me.
Yes. We're going to need some extra voices.
I know, honey. I'm gonna get there. I really am gonna get there, because that's just something else that I have to face myself, But
I'm good at getting that out of people. See, we kind of help.
And so we're gonna have to do a session. Yes.
I can help you with that.
Yes. I owe you, definitely. So we'll have to get together for a session. I made you do this, so.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. We live together.
Right, so I have to be able to do it myself. So we will do that. Oh, gosh. Okay. So what were some of the struggles? Now, in your particular chapter, like I said, we talk about forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is, and I talk about it in one of my other podcasts, about being authentic, is one of the biggest things is forgiveness. And that was the hardest thing that I had to face during my healing process. And that's something I want people to know, that in your healing phase, you're going to have to go through a forgiving phase. And for most people, that's the hardest phase. And being able to forgive others, but a lot of times we're going to have to forgive ourselves. And for me, it was both ways. It was very hard to forgive myself, and it was very hard to forgive my father. So I want to touch in with you on that, about what were some of the steps that you took to actually forgive this person for the unspeakable things that they had done to you.
Just the whole reliving of it all. When the incident happened, I just couldn't believe it happened, because it wasn't in my mind. It wasn't in him to be that way. No one would have ever thought that he was capable of doing something like that.
Right.
So everybody was caught off guard, as far as what was going on at the time. When I was going through the process, and to piggyback off what you said, I had to forgive myself. It was hard, because I'm like, dang, I should have known. Why didn't I see this